Avada Kedavra.
Welcome back to Director's Choice. There are times in life when unthinkable tragedies happen, and the individuals who survive them are left wondering what could have happened if only one thing were different. We torture ourselves about what we could have done differently, agonize over what we could have done differently to prevent the situation that occurred. However, when we get the chance to look back on those tragedies with a clear mind, we can see how necessary they were for change to happen and for life to move forward. This can only happen when we accept that the trials we experience in life are opportunities to grow stronger and wiser in preparation for what comes next. The tragedy may still hurt, but it has meaning that makes it more bearable and prepares us to make better decisions based on the experiences we gain from it. This is exactly what kind of role the tragic death of Albus Dumbledore takes in the last 3 installments of the Harry Potter movie franchise. Since the early 2000s, the Harry Potter books and movies have been a staple of American culture.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wizard.
It was originally cast as a children's book series based in a fictional reality where witches and wizards live in hiding from muggles, humans that do not practice magic, and attend schools where they learn to practice magic. However, the farther you get into the series, the darker that fictional reality becomes. Nothing shows the darkness as well as the last 2 films of the series. By this point in the series, we have witnessed several deaths of characters, but the most shocking by far is the death of Dumbledore at the end of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. A beloved and respected character who was a figure of power against the growing darkness cast by Voldemort. The moment he dies seems like a moment when all hope is lost. When we watch his death scene, it makes it all the more gut-wrenching, as Dumbledore, once seen as an untouchable, all-powerful wizard, pleads with Snape before Snape kills him.
Severus. Please.
However, there is more meaning behind this death than mere shock value. There are reasons stemming from both the character's individual decisions, as well as important milestones in the journey to defeat evil itself, that make this death necessary. One of the main reasons for Dumbledore's death is that he realized that he was already going to die. This traces back to Dumbledore's run-ins with Voldemort's Horcruxes. Voldemort effectively made himself immortal by storing shards of his soul in 7 different items called Horcruxes. To be able to defeat him in battle, all of his Horcruxes had to be destroyed to weaken him, but also make sure that he couldn't return again, as he had after the Triwizard Tournament in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. He had technically died after an attempt to kill Harry and his parents backfired, leaving behind an orphaned Harry and a world thought to be free of Voldemort. However, before his death, he had prepared 6 Horcruxes to store pieces of his soul in case he died, to ensure that he could make a return when the timing was right, and accidentally turned Harry into a 7th Horcrux when he died. By the time of his death, Dumbledore had already begun his own journey to seek out these Horcruxes to destroy them himself. He goes alone to a location he knows was important to Tom Riddle, aka Voldemort's true identity, where he finds the ring. When Dumbledore goes to destroy it, he stopped when he realized the Resurrection Stone, a Deathly Hallow capable of bringing back the dead, was embedded in the ring. The Deathly Hallows were 3 legendary powerful objects in the wizarding world, and throughout his life, Dumbledore dealt with all 3 of these objects and therefore knew their powers. Dumbledore had sought the stone for years, hoping to be able to reconnect with his loved ones. That's why, despite knowing the ring's status as a Horcrux, he put the ring on. This triggered the fatal curse that made Dumbledore's fate inevitable. When he returned to Hogwarts, he was able to destroy the Horcrux, but the curse was irreversible. Severus Snape helped treat it and keep it contained temporarily in Dumbledore's hand, but his fate was sealed. he would eventually die by the curse, which would cause a slow, excruciating death. Knowing he was going to die, he found a way to sacrifice himself to further the cause so his death wouldn't be in vain and he wouldn't die in such a horrible way. Severus Snape was trying to infiltrate the Death Eaters, Voldemort's followers, and was losing Voldemort's trust. He also knew that he had entered an unbreakable vow with Draco Malfoy, a magical seal performed by Draco's mother, which made it so that if Draco didn't fulfill his mission assigned by Voldemort to kill Dumbledore, Snape would have to do it himself. He knew that if Draco did kill him, there would be no redemption for Draco from the actions he had taken as a Death Eater. And he was right. At the end of the series, Draco is able to turn his life around because this decision was made to protect him, something he would not have been able to do if he had committed any real acts of violence like many of the other members of the Death Eaters. In addition to wanting to save Draco, Dumbledore was also the owner of the Elder Wand, a deathly hallow wand that was extraordinarily powerful. A common theory about the Elder Wand was that the only way to become a true owner of the wand is to defeat the previous owner. He thought that if Snape killed him while he still had it, without Snape knowing anything about the wand, he could be buried with it and end the cycle of its power, so that Voldemort could not get a hold of it. Something else to consider is the fact that that's why in his last moments, Dumbledore pleads with Snape before Snape kills him. He is pleading with Snape to kill him.
You must be the one to kill me, Severus. It is the only way.
He knows that Snape does not want to kill him, but he also knows how much is at stake if Snape doesn't follow through. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on who you ask, Snape follows through and kills him using the killing curse, which kills him instantly. In Dumbledore's mind, it was better to have Snape kill him because he still had hope for Draco's future, and Snape was the one person who knew he was going to die a long, prolonged death. Dumbledore wanted to be spared the pain and humiliation a long death would cause, and asked Snape to put him out of his misery so that his death could actually mean something. Another perspective from which to consider Dumbledore's death is the cycle of the hero's journey. The Harry Potter series is a perfect example of the hero's journey, a theory with 17 stages that every hero or protagonist in literature must experience in the span of their story. In the last 2 books, Harry must go on an actual journey to destroy Horcruxes to defeat Voldemort. Every hero has a mentor, and in this story, Dumbledore is obviously his. However, at some point in every hero's journey, the mentor must disappear so that the hero is left on his own. And that is exactly what happens to Harry when Dumbledore dies. If Dumbledore hadn't died, he probably would have been the one to continue on the journey to destroy Horcruxes, while Harry, Hermione, and Ron stayed back at Hogwarts to attend school. Maybe this would have given the 3 friends an easier journey, but at the end of the day, it would have left them unprepared for the battle that would have had to happen to defeat Voldemort. While all 3 of them are decent with magic, the experiences they gained in a classroom at Hogwarts would not have been enough to give them a fighting chance in a battle with Voldemort and the Death Eaters. When Dumbledore dies, he essentially passes down the responsibility to save the world to Harry. He must now take full responsibility for his role in the war against Voldemort, and this is very important, considering the interwoven lives of Harry and Voldemort. Since the death of his parents, their fates have been intertwined, especially since Voldemort accidentally turned Harry himself into a Horcrux.
Harry Potter. The boy who lived.
Dumbledore's death seals the deal that Harry is now the only one capable of stopping Voldemort. This forces Harry to make the decision to go on a journey, which would essentially train him for battle and equip him with knowledge about their enemy. By the time Harry, Hermione, and Ron come face to face with Voldemort and his followers in battle, they have spent months traveling alone under treacherous circumstances and performing dangerous tasks that almost kill them. If not for Dumbledore's death, This would not have come to pass because he had always taken the lead against Voldemort, even though it's clear that Dumbledore knew from very early on that Harry would play a crucial role. In this way, Dumbledore sealed the fate of the world by opening the door for Harry to grow into a powerful, knowledgeable wizard, capable of destroying Voldemort. Dumbledore was one of the most powerful wizards of his time, and the one person who intimidated Voldemort. He knew he would never be able to truly defeat Dumbledore in battle, so he delegated it to his followers to deal with him in roundabout ways so he wouldn't have to come face to face with the one wizard he feared. However, this story was never meant to be about him. It has always been Harry versus Voldemort, and Dumbledore was only there to act as a mentor to Harry on his journey to face his fate. Earlier on in the series, a prophecy hinted that the only way the battle could end would be if Harry or Voldemort killed the other. And that's exactly how it ended, when Harry kills Voldemort in the Battle of Hogwarts. If Dumbledore hadn't died, however, there's a chance that Harry wouldn't have been as prepared. The only reason he and his friends were so prepared for battle is that they had gone on a long, difficult journey they otherwise wouldn't have taken if Dumbledore had survived. In the end, Dumbledore's death prevented so many others because it opened the door for Harry to undergo a transformation and change into a powerful wizard that he might not have been able to become if he had stayed in a classroom at Hogwarts right up until the battle against Voldemort and the Death Eaters. He also protected Draco's fate with his final act against them, so one less person was lost to the evil of their forces. While Dumbledore's death is still a sad one, fans can take comfort in the fact that it had meaning and changed the course of events that led to Harry being able to defeat Voldemort and save the world. The way characters process the grief in the wake of this death is a great lesson that all of us can learn from in real life, as we appreciate such an incredible character. Take a look at these other recent clips by Director's Choice, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified with our latest videos.